Welcome to the Own Your Life podcast, where our goal is to help bring hope, healing, and peace by sharing our experiences and inspiring you to own your life. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Own Your Life podcast. Today is episode 62. Talking all about how are you taking care of yourself. And this is a very important topic, especially now. If you think of everything that's been going on, it's worn on all of us. Everybody has been affected. If you've been alive and awake during any of this that's gone on in the past 18 months, then you have been affected by something or another. And I think an important thing is that we need to take care of ourselves, because a lot of times we just go. We care for everybody else, serve everybody else. And then we, are left at the end empty, and we're not doing so well because we didn't, like the stewardesses on the airlines say, to put on your oxygen mask first. We don't do that. So I think that we need to make sure that we are, taking care of ourselves as well during this time to be able to be stronger, as we come out of whatever is going on, because we don't know how long any of this is going to last. In my opinion, I feel like COVID is never going to go away, because it's going to keep mutating to be some variant or another forever, just because that's the nature of it. So I think we need to learn to live with it for what it is, and to take care of ourselves in the meantime, because that's all we can control. We cannot control the outside circumstances of what is happening. However, we can control what we are doing. So I think a huge part of that is taking care of ourselves so that we can be the best version of ourselves and to own our lives and take responsibility for ourselves, because that's what we can control. So starting, I feel like the most obvious, what are you eating? Things that you're eating are going to affect your body, maybe in ways that you don't even know. And if you've never done an elimination diet or don't even know what that is, I would suggest looking it up. It's taking away certain foods that maybe you eat all the time and then reintroducing them and seeing how your body reacts. I did this a lot when I had several health challenges about 4 or 5 years ago now, and it made a huge difference. And still now, if I have something that I haven't eaten in a while, I can notice how it affects my body if, I have any, adverse reactions to it. This actually happened on Saturday. I had something that was more dairy based than I'm used to. I usually don't eat much dairy, but anyways, I could feel my sinuses like clogging up and just getting more like sniffly over it. So it's a little bit of a reaction, and it just kind of made me tired. So I've tried to cut out things that after I've eaten it, I realize it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel tired. I don't feel like I have much energy, or if you instantly want to take a nap after you eat, that's probably not a good sign. And that's happened to me before. So multiple times. So that's definitely something you need to watch. What are you eating? How are you taking care of yourself with that? Because that's huge. What we eat. I know we've heard that a lot. If you eat a bunch of junk, you're going to feel like junk. But if you eat a lot of good food, you're going to feel good too. And there's room to have the fun foods. I'm not saying to go all out with just healthy food, because that also can cause issues to where when you do slip up, or when you maybe celebrate something and you have something that's not as healthy, if all you eat is healthy, your body's not going to react very well to that, because it's not used to having it. So I think it's important that we do include some of those foods or drinks maybe that we like, the indulgent part, because it's going to help your body be able to normalize it and process it the way that it needs to, instead of coming as a shock. So I think that's also kind of like how I feel about germs, that I'm okay. If you look up Dr. Axe, he talks about that you should eat dirt. I'm okay if things like food wise, maybe I don't fully wash the vegetables or whatever. If it has I don't know if it has stuff on it, I'm sure they all do. But if it's organic, if you get a little bit of dirt, that's okay. It actually helps your immune system to better handle things coming at it than if you have everything super clean and super sterilized all the time. Maybe that's a little gross for some of you guys, and I'm not saying to eat dirty food, But just look it up. Look up. I think he might have written a book called Dirt, but that's Dr. Josh Axe. And anyways, it's ways to build our immune system, and that's so important right now, is building our immune systems, not just with COVID, but with all the emotional things that are happening, being stressed out. I think that's obviously a huge one. So what you're eating is all a big part of that, and make sure that you are eating healthy food. If all you eat is junk, look at that to change that around. And if all you're eating is healthy, maybe throw in a couple things just to change it up and get your immune system kicking in. I think that that's also important. Another thing, exercising regularly. And I know we've talked about all of these, but I just want to reiterate, these are all ways to take care of yourself. So exercise. Are you exercising regularly? Because that's really important to get the blood pumping, to increase your heart rate in a healthy way, and to be able to, sweat out the toxins in your body. That we need to eliminate that. So that is something that's important that we need to do, and regularly. Not that you just go for a walk once a week. That is not going to be enough. You need to have regular exercise, and it releases endorphins. So it actually helps you, and it helps your mood if you do work out. And I think that that's important to have, some sort of exercise routine, or just set times or whatever that you go to the gym. I usually go to the gym every morning on the weekdays, and I take the weekends off. So that has been very helpful. And I go when I don't want to go, because that's just my routine. And I think that when you have that in place, it's very helpful. And it is helpful with dealing with stress. It is a stress reliever. So definitely something to add to your schedule if you're not doing it already. And you don't have to go to a gym. You can work out at home. There are probably millions of videos on YouTube that you can get for free, and just look up, watch maybe a 20-minute workout, maybe an hour. It depends on how much time you have. But you can, Google you could look on YouTube or Google, you can get certain programs. I follow just a couple programs online that it's like a sheet, and it tells me what to do, and I just follow that. But if you want somebody talking to you, then I would suggest looking up a video of somebody, like an actual trainer, doing that, or hiring a trainer. If that's in your, availability, then do that too, if that's what you need. Somebody to hold you accountable, or even having an exercise buddy, somebody that you can consistently go with, that you're both going to hold each other accountable. That's also very helpful. And let's see, number 3 would be supplements. So what supplements are you taking? I know right now it's very important that all of us make sure we have enough vitamin D. That is something that a lot of people, I think most people, are lacking. It's not just being out in the sun for 10 minutes. You're going to need more than that. If you do live in a state like I do in Florida, then it is very easy to be outside. I spent a couple hours at the pool yesterday, so I think that obviously was good vitamin D. But I do make sure to supplement with vitamin. Maybe not as much. If I'm out in the sun all day, I probably won't take the supplement. But if I'm not, I will. Make sure that you're getting vitamin D and zinc, maybe some kind of multivitamin. Obviously, talk to your doctor. I am not a doctor. I don't claim to be one by any means. So make sure that you are taking things that are going to be okay, especially if you're on any other medication. I know there can be reactions. Maybe don't take, I think iron might be one of those supplements that you can't take around certain other medications, because they mess each other up. So make sure that you are checking with your doctor if you're going to do that, or if you haven't implemented that already. I would suggest looking into the supplements. And supplements are just that. They are supplemental. They are not to take the place of and override, eating healthy and other things that we need to be doing on our own, especially if you can be outside at all and get, natural sunlight, that's good too. But yes, that the supplement, it can't just take over the entire spot. And then, you just, I'm taking supplements, so I can just sit on the couch and not do anything, and I can just eat like crap because, the supplements. No, they're not going to take place of that. They are to help. They are not to replace. So just keep that in mind, but definitely check with your doctor if you're not doing any of that already. I would highly suggest it. And I think it's appropriate for any age. Probably, I don't know, something young kids can take supplements too, but just make sure you check with your doctor before you do anything like that. But even taking like adaptogenic herbs, I take ashwagandha, which is it helps with stress. It helps your body handle stress. It doesn't get rid of stress, but it helps your body better handle it. So a lot of adaptogens help your body adapt to stress, which is really good, especially with how much is going on. We really can't eliminate the stress around us, but we can help ourselves in how we handle it. So definitely look at that if you haven't heard of those. There's so many different adaptogenic herbs out there. Ashwagandha is just one that me and my natural doctor have chosen to go with. So that is something that I would recommend if that fits for you, then to do that. And let's see, emotional health. Number 4 would be emotional health. This is huge. This is almost more important than maybe all the other ones. Are you doing anything for your emotional health? Because yes, we can have the perfect workout routine and eat right and have the supplements and be on the right schedule per se, but are you even dealing with your emotions that are happening? Because I think a lot of us can tend to stuff emotions. I know I've done that, stuffing and avoiding, acting like it's not happening, or, oh, I'll deal with that later. I'm not going to worry about this now. And sometimes it's appropriate to, not deal with it in the present moment. Maybe it's just a place you are or somebody you're with. It's just not appropriate. However, to let that keep happening and going on, you're going to keep sweeping it under the rug. And then eventually it will probably come out in a way you don't want it to happen. So I would highly suggest to work on your emotional health if you are not already, because we have all been impacted by what is going on. And tips for that, I would say looking up even emotional intelligence. Emotional Intelligence 2.0 is a book that we've read that's been helpful, and just that helps a lot with self-awareness of where you're at. And there's also an emotion wheel that you can look up online. There's multiple different ones. I've looked them up, and some of them are just very slightly from the other. So any of those, and it really helps you pinpoint what emotion that you're feeling. And I think that can be more helpful than just saying, oh, I'm sad, or I'm upset, oh, I'm mad, to actually pinpoint it and like, oh, no, I feel this way, a more specific version. And it's got tons of words on there so you can pick out, what are you feeling? And even this is an exercise that I got from Noble and Kathy Gibbons, EQ Gangster. Also check out their podcast, EQ Gangster, and it helps a lot with emotional health. They give a lot of practical tips to work through things that you're going through so that you can, be more emotionally healthy and resilient, especially during these times. And one thing that they've taught us is to write down the emotions that you're feeling. So all of them, list them all. Maybe you're feeling 10, maybe you're feeling 50, maybe you're feeling 2. But to write them down and then to let yourself feel them. Now, this exercise is not easy. It's not easy to sit there and to really process it, but it is so helpful to your body, probably in ways that you don't even really think. But if we keep storing up all these emotions, especially negative ones that have been happening, like, being angry or frustrated or mad or whatever it is, if you keep storing all that, it is going to come out in a way that you probably don't want it to. And it's not going to be healthy for anybody, whether you're with somebody or not, that it's going to be pretty bad. So I would highly suggest to do that exercise where you write down what emotions you're feeling. Take the time to sit there and maybe put a timer on your phone that you spend 30 seconds or a minute on each one, and that you just let yourself feel whatever that emotion is. And to have your notebook out so that once you've written down these emotions, that you can write down maybe how you're feeling afterwards, or if anything came to you, maybe you thought of something during that time and you want to write it down, and maybe you are pinpointing now, oh, I feel this way, and this is the situation that happened, but I actually feel this way because of something that happened to me, 10 years ago, and this is where this is coming from. So I think getting to the root of what it is really, really important. So make sure you write that down and take the time to work through it. This is not something that maybe you just do in 5 minutes. It's something that would probably take longer than that. And it's okay to revisit and to go back through things. I think a lot of us just want the quick fix and just want to be able to get through something quickly and, I'm going to process this and move on, and it's going to be great and it's going to be wonderful. That's not always how it works. So it's taking the time for ourselves. And I know a lot of us don't want to do that, and we see it as selfish. However, if you are so burnt out and you can't process anything and you can barely function and you're just hanging on, that is going to be so detrimental to you and to other people around you. And the other people around you would want you to be healthy in all ways, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, all of that. And that it is important that you do take care of yourself. And it's not selfish. It's not selfish. You're actually being selfless by making sure that you are okay. So then you can handle, what comes at you. So make sure that you are taking care of your emotional health. And this is like a bunch of podcasts in one. I could definitely talk about each topic for a lot longer. But kind of an overall, how are you taking care of yourself, to look at all these different ways. Another huge one, how is your sleep? How is your sleep pattern? How's your sleep schedule? Maybe you've got one of those Oura rings, or you have some sort of tracker that you sleep with that, detects your sleep pattern. Matt and I did that years ago. I can't remember what it was called. It was something that we wore around our wrist. However, maybe it was called Jawbone or something like that. But anyways, it showed how much I didn't sleep, and it was really scary. It showed how many times I woke up in the middle of the night, maybe tossing and turning, how much actual deep sleep that I was getting. But it was a really good indicator to show that even though I went to bed at certain times and woke up at certain times, that my sleep wasn't very good. And so now I can even trace that back to, it probably was eating patterns, because maybe if you eat even late at night and you don't stop eating, maybe close to when you go to bed, that your body's going to be working on processing your food and not sleeping. So that's something to keep in mind. What is your activity like? Are you working out at night and then going to bed, half an hour later? That's probably going to upset your sleep schedule as well. So it's looking at the full picture. But do you go to bed at a certain time every night, or do you just go to bed whenever you're tired? Do you go to bed at 10 one night, 9 another night, 1 the next night? Because I feel like the inconsistency can also throw your body off, especially if you're waking up the same time every morning. That's definitely going to affect you. Or if you're waking up at different times the next morning, just being off schedule like that is going to affect your body and how you handle stress and just how you feel overall. So these are all things to look at. And another one that a lot of people might not even consider is, how often are you cleaning your house, or what are you cleaning your house with? Are you using a bunch of harmful chemicals? Are you using something that's more natural, maybe something biodegradable, more essential oil based, all of these things? And it might sound a little woo woo, but if you look at some of these ingredients, if you're cleaning with them, and maybe you live in a smaller space, or it's more enclosed, that you're breathing in whatever that is. So that can also be very harmful to you and can mess up your hormones and all of that, and your stress response. So it is important to look at, what kind of products are you using? I am the crazy label reader woman. So I check what's in like everything. I had to do that when I was really sick, and I still do that because I believe in, more holistic approaches to everything. So even the products, that we have in the house that we use to clean, I want to make sure that doesn't have a bunch of crazy stuff in it that's going to be harmful, especially to Marley too. Like if you have pets, you want to be aware that you're not harming your pet or giving, because they're close to the ground. So they're probably breathing in more of whatever it is that you're using to clean. So that's something important to take into consideration. So with all of these, these are all little things that you can do to help in how you're taking care of yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you're burnt out and you're just completely depleted, that you are not going to be able to help anybody else. You're not going to be able to help yourself. You will be burnt out. And that is not the goal here. The goal is to be able to help. If you are if you are very stressed out right now, maybe you are burnt out, maybe you're already there. These are things that you can do to help yourself come out of that, to start taking care of yourself. And you will be amazed at how fast things start to change in your life. Because I really do believe that, when we are the best version of ourselves, that everything's going to get better, because our overall, mindset and how we feel, how we act, our behavior and everything is so much better than if we are super stressed out and burnout and feeling terrible and treating ourselves bad and eating bad and not working out, all of that. I feel like I choose the life that is the former, of to take care of myself, because that's that's all we can control in the end. We can't control the circumstances. Unfortunately, I know all of us probably wish we had maybe a magic wand or something to change what's happening in the world right now. However, we can't do that. So we can only control what we can control. So we can own our lives by taking care of ourselves. And if you haven't done any of these, or if you've done some of them, I would encourage you to maybe try some other ones, or continue doing what you're doing. And that it's so important that we do take care of ourselves so we can become the best version that we can be. And with that, thank you all for listening. Please share this message. Please subscribe. Please rate and review us. And until next time, own your life, because your life is your responsibility. Thank you all for listening. If this added value to you, please click subscribe and rate and review us. You can also find us at Own Your Life Co. on Instagram and Facebook, and ownyourlifeco.com. And as always, own your life, because your life is your responsibility.